Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is, my friend. It's always good to be here because we have great sponsors, and we're
do.
looking for sponsors.
We do have great sponsors, Lee Castle and Crawley.
Yeah, we also have Fervent Care Christian Academy, great school for young people to get started.
Yeah, give them a call at 317-898-2751. Christian, clean, convenient, and caring child care. I also want to encourage you to subscribe to this show on YouTube, WHMB TV 40. You can watch this show after it's over, and others.
Yeah, we've logged in for the last 2.5 years. We're still here trying to bring pertinent information to the Central Indiana, and we hope that you'll appreciate it. And every now and then, send a letter. Let somebody know that you appreciate Real People, Real Voices.
Yeah, and we also want to encourage you to go to Facebook. Yeah. Like us on Facebook.
Like us there. We're hanging out there waiting on you to hook us up, and we want to be a part of your life.
We got the good folks from Health Net's going to be joining us in just a few moments. But again, we want to encourage you to watch this show on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and on Friday nights at 9:30. A wonderful show because wonderful people help to make it happen.
50 years of service.
50 years.
In the city of Indianapolis, trying to make sure that the healthcare needs are moving throughout the community of Indianapolis. In such a crisis that the healthcare industry is in, we're grateful to still have Health Net around with us today. So I look forward to talking to Rick Diaz, who's the CEO, and Dr. V.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a great time today.
All that right after this. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. We're joined by Rick Diaz, Mr. Rick Diaz. He is the CEO of Health Net. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And Dr. Veron Cantrell.
Dr. V.
Dr. V.
Most people know you about Dr. V.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I want to get right into it. You all got a big event coming up pretty soon, but there's a lot about Health Net that folks might not know.
Yes, we are celebrating our 50th anniversary in September. In fact, September 21st at the Indiana Historical Society. We've been around since September of 1968. We started off in a very small little clinic in the Fountain Square area. In fact, if you look at the landscape, it was in where the current Repeal restaurant is. And so we were started by the Methodist Church and Methodist Hospital, and there was a need for doctors in that area. And during the late 60s, a lot of industry left the inner city. And part of that were physicians left as well too. And so the church knew that there was a need. We knew that we needed to see patients. We needed to serve the community, and that's where Health Net was birthed. And so we started in that one little clinic, and over the years, God has completely blessed us, and we've grown, and we're at the point now where we're one of the largest community health centers in the city and in the state and in the country.
Wow.
We serve about 61 or 62,000 patients, about 300,000 visits. We serve the whole family. We deliver babies. We have pediatricians. We have family practice doctors. We have an extremely robust dental program. We have dentists. We have a very robust behavioral health department. We have psychiatrists, counselors, and we have other services as well too. In fact, one of our things that are close to our heart is our homeless initiative program.
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people, James, talking about we're going to do everything we can in the city of Indianapolis to help the homeless, but it only ends up being verbiage. Tell us what you're doing.
Well, there's studies that have been going on for centuries, or for a long time, where the homeless population really has a mistrust of going to a four walls type of facility. They've had some bad experiences in hospitals or things of that sort, and so what we've done over the years, we've known that our community, we've seen a growing homeless population, and so we've started a program called the Homeless Initiative Program about 2 decades ago. And we have doctors, we have nurses, we have caseworkers that we go out to the community and we bring services to them. It's more than just healthcare.
You go on site.
We go on site. We go to the different shelters, we go to churches, we go to soup kitchens, wherever the homeless population is. A lot of people think of the homeless population as being under the bridge, but it's more than that. There are families that are misplaced. There are families that are doubling up with other families. There are families that show up at shelters because of a bad break. There's a lot of issues with abuse where moms have to leave and with their kids. And so we work very closely with several organizations around town. So we take a team of physicians and nurses to Wheeler Mission. We take them to all these different shelters. Also, another area that we've really had a strong conviction about is our veteran population.
Right.
That is the fastest growing homeless population in our country. Sadly, I'm a veteran. I served in the United States Marine Corps.
So you have a
Thank
passion
you.
for veterans.
So I do have a passion for veterans, and so we have a very strong veterans rehousing project where we supply housing for a lot of our veterans. We have programs where we teach them how to interview, we give them skills on how to help find jobs for them. We have temporary housing that we put our veterans in, and in our homeless population as well too. And we prepare them for to leave homelessness, and we give them some tools
Wow.
to go out there.
Outstanding. And
I'm sorry, James, go ahead.
yeah, I want to bring Dr. Contrell in
Yeah.
here to talk about how you're connected with HealthNet.
So my connection with HealthNet is I've lived in Indianapolis all 40 years of my life except for 5, and I had never heard of HealthNet. I completed my residency in University of Cincinnati in 2010, and the current chief medical officer gave me a call and told me about some organization called HealthNet. And I really was ashamed in that I've been here my entire life and had never heard of the organization. I'm only 40 years old, and HealthNet's turning 50. And so for me, it was an opportunity to work with those who are underserved. But more importantly, a building is just a building. It's the people that make it. And so, leaders like Mr. Diaz and my colleagues throughout the organization and our support staff from the front office to the back and even down to the janitors. We have this interdependent relationship, so we're dependent on one another. And so I'm here, I love it, and I'm just excited. And it is a ministry, which is what I define as see a need, meet a need.
Oh,
Yeah.
phenomenal! So
Absolutely.
that's you impressed me with that, because a lot of people are talking about trying to do ministry, but they don't realize the core of doing ministry is identifying the need and then meeting that need. And I think HealthNet is doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys certainly should be commended for the work that you do. And part of your mission is to provide these services regardless of people's ability to pay.
Absolutely.
Is that what the 5K coming up is going to do? And then how can people support you all?
Sure, absolutely. And Dr. Contrell is actually in charge of that event, so we'll let him talk about it.
Oh, so, well, I'm a part of the multidisciplinary committee. I would say I'm in charge of it. But so this is just an opportunity for us to reach out and to connect with the community, because the majority of the time we see our patients, there's something acute going on or there's an immediate need. But this is time for us to get out and actually just let our hair down, remove the stethoscopes and everything that goes along with healthcare, and just meet them where they are and to just spend time with them and their families. So the 5K that's coming up on October the 20th is a great opportunity for us. And the interesting thing about it is this is the first year that we're doing the 5K. It will be an annual thing, and all of the proceeds from this particular 5K will go to our homeless initiative program.
Wow.
So we'll utilize the funds, with the goal being $10,000 plus, will go directly into the homeless initiative program, and we will utilize that to help people with temporary housing, transitional housing, food, clothing, job preparation, and reacclimating them back into the workforce. So every dime we raise will go there.
Wow.
Right. And the 5K is just one of our events that we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. At the actual celebration, we are launching our HealthNet Foundation. And so we have been so blessed over the last 50 years with the community and growing and becoming successful that we as a organization decide we need to start giving back more. And so we are launching our foundation. And part of what we're going to do with the foundation is we're going to raise funds. We have a great story to tell of what we've done in our community, but we're going to raise funds. Some of the things we're going to raise funds for is 2 medical mobile vans, 1 medical and 1 dental, which will go out into the community and provide services for. We're actually going to start raising funds to get scholarships for inner city kids that want to go to school. Specifically in the healthcare arena, and
That's
we're going to help
phenomenal.
them with that as well too. I mean, God has blessed this organization so much over the last 50 years that we think it's time to start even giving more back.
You make healthcare look good these days.
So thank you.
You really make it look good.
Well, it's part of our mission.
Thank you.
It's part of our mission. And everyone in our organization, all 650 employees, understand that we do have a mission. And whatever we do, every time I talk to anyone that comes in my office that wants to start something new or talk about something, the first question I ask them is, this is the right thing for the patient. And if they can't answer that question, then that conversation doesn't continue.
And you sound like you got some God in you.
Absolutely. I'm actually a minister.
Oh, I figured you
Yeah, I'm
did.
an ordained minister, so I do that on the weekends as well, too.
Okay,
Yeah,
your
we'll
weekend
have,
job.
We'll have to have you back to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You all have been great guests. Thank you so much for sharing with
We
us.
appreciate it. We thank you for
We'll
the
be praying for
opportunity.
HealthNet.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we are joined by Ms. Patricia Payne.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to join you. I'm
You're
very
welcome.
honored. Yes.
And we're honored to have you. Almost need no introduction.
Well, no
Central Indiana knows you. We don't know you by Patricia. We know you
Well.
about Miss Pat.
That's great. I love that. I'm so happy to be an elder
Yeah.
in the community.
Well, you know
It
what?
means quite a lot.
I'm happy to have you today. I think it's an honor for you to be on Real People, Real Voices. You have become an Indianapolis icon.
Oh, wow.
And we're
Thank
just
you.
excited to have you. If nobody's ever told you that, I tell you right here in front of 1.3 million people
Oh, my goodness.
that the
Thank
city of
you.
Indianapolis is pleased to have you as an icon. And we love you for the
Thank
work
you.
that you've done and that the work that you're still doing.
I'm very blessed. Very blessed.
And Ms. Pat, you've got a special assignment, racial
Yes,
equity.
yes. For many years, I've been in the Indianapolis Public Schools, now going on almost 57 years. I started out as a second grade teacher and spent many years about 25. But it came to the point where I could no longer use textbooks and curriculum that did not reflect the children that I was teaching, nor the society that I was trying to prepare them for. And so a small number of us just started raising hell. That's what we did until a superintendent, Dr. James Adams, heard us. And he asked me to come out of the classroom and start the Office of Multicultural Education. Now, that wasn't really part of my plan because I did not want to leave the classroom. I loved interacting with the young people and in particular with their parents. But understood that I would probably be able to reach more if I was doing it from a central place. And so since 1987, now, it started out as the Office of Multicultural Education, where we really did what I call food, fashion, and festival activities.
remember that.
Oh, yeah, we still do that. We have festivals out at Lafayette Square. We have the Martin Luther King program. But in terms of changing mindsets, that's what we're about now. The Racial Equity Initiative started in IPS, so I would say 2015. 90%, maybe 95% of our teachers are white. And so they have a directly different experience from the black and brown children that they teach. And so we find that teacher training institutions aren't doing their job because their mindsets aren't right either in terms of black children and brown children. So this initiative, now we have 22 pilot schools. And they come in for 2-day training. They have to be there from 9 to 5. We only talk about racism because we feel that racism, that's the bookends that hold all the other isms firmly in place. And so following that 2-day experience, We have district equity teams and each school has an equity team. And so we go in and work with the school equity teams. They have to be able to they can't just bring up data and say, okay, now we know. It has to be disaggregated data. Because then you start beginning to see how black children are always at the bottom. And so we want them to start asking questions. How is it that black children come out of the womb as geniuses, but the farther along, in fact, while they're still in the womb, they are exposed to racism because of the kind of health care that their mother gets based on what? The criteria of race only. And so we want them to start asking those questions. Why is this happening? Instead of thinking it's normal that black children are at the bottom, that black families. And we always bring in people from the community to go through these training sessions because racism is a strand that runs through everything. Health, juvenile justice, anything you ask for, anything you name, that poisonous strand is running through.
Ms. Pat, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If that is to be so, why is it that we're living in 2018 and people are denying that that exists?
They're in a state of denial, period, because it is ever so evident that it is happening. We're drinking in the smog of racism as we sit here and speak right now. So they are in a state of denial because many of them don't even understand what racism is and how it impacts not only the victim, but the perpetrator also.
Right.
So we have to keep talking about that. I don't know if it's going to bring them out of that state of denial, but we've got to keep talking about it so people will understand what's going on.
95% of our teachers
That's right.
are teaching black and brown children.
That's right. And this is happening all over the country. It's not just in the state
What
of
is the end
Indiana.
result to that? If this trend keeps moving, what is the end result that you
The
think?
end result that I see is that when they see black children, automatically their expectations drop based on that criteria of black skin only. They don't even know it's happening, really. Well, some of them do. But it could be conscious, it could be unconscious. Now, when that happens, that means they don't think these children can learn in the first place. They think their mamas and daddies don't want them to learn, when we know that education is one of our only ways out of this. So they are in they make assumptions about our children, but the end result is they don't teach them. They withdraw on their skills to our children because they don't think they can learn or want to learn. See, so when you hear this saying that says all children can learn if all children are taught, and all children aren't taught. See.
Interesting. You say that poverty and low performance are not synonymous.
That's right.
Although people blame low performance on poverty.
That's right. They think I'm glad you brought that up. That is one of my main sayings. Poverty and low performance are not synonymous. Because first of all, you're making the assumption that all black children are poor. See, and from that assumption then, your behavior kicks in, see. And that's what happens to our children, see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, certainly not enough time to
Would you come back?
expound
I'd love to come back.
You have such knowledge and wisdom.
I'd love to come back. The museum that we have at Crispus Attucks is so important because it helps those who see this museum understand the legacy of our history. It helps them understand that our history didn't start on a plantation in America. It started in ancient Egypt. I had to go there twice. It was just so amazing to me. That's where our history starts, with the pyramids, with Horry Market, the Sphinx, you see.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll come back.
Okay.
I'd love to come back.
And we'll be back too. Stay with us.
Real people, real voices, keep it
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm your executive producer, Faith McKinney.
Exciting guests on the show.
Oh my God, I'm telling you, we had a great time with those individuals that were here today.
HealthNet.
HealthNet, brothers doing some things in the community, 50 years old and wanting to stretch further into the community.
Yeah.
And as they left, they told us, we turn nobody or no one down.
Yeah. And he just kept talking about God, you know,
Yeah.
as the CEO.
Oh my God. You know, you don't
That's
hear,
refreshing.
yeah, it's refreshing. You don't hear many people who are in high profile positions like that that are willing to let people know that they have a strong confession about Jesus Christ. And that's phenomenal. I think that's so phenomenal to hear the brother talk about that.
Yeah. 7 societal mind molders or areas of influence. Business is one of them.
Right.
And to be a CEO, to love God that much and to help people like they do is extraordinary.
We're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
Community needs to know more about him. And not only him, but I call her Dr. Patricia Payne.
Yeah.
My God, she's a lot of people might not recognize her as that, but I believe she's one of Indianapolis's own manufactured icons.
Yeah, she's a treasure,
Yeah,
definitely.
she's our treasure.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to talk about the real issues. She's not ashamed of
Has
it.
experience.
Yes, has experience, and she's doing everything she can to make sure that black and brown children get a fair shake in the education system and move further in other areas of life. I'm fascinated with that.
Talk about being well connected.
She is.
Yeah, Miss Pat is it. I mean, she's been around. You'd seen her on TV years and years and years ago, and she's just as feisty now.
Yeah, and she still has the fight in her.
She does.
Yeah.
Her personality fills the room.
It does. It does. We're going to have her back as well. I
Yes.
think the community needs to hear more about her and what she's doing to make sure that people understand the climate in which we live in now. Because some people are readily ignoring the climate in which we live in. We can't afford that to happen.
Absolutely. And we're certainly excited about the fact that you all join us twice a week, Friday nights at
Oh my God,
9:30.
yes. Yeah, I'm happy
And
about
on
that.
Sundays at 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
We also want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, WHMB TV 40, and subscribe and like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook. We're waiting to connect with you, give you information that you can carry throughout the community and throughout the week.
Yeah. And again, I want to thank our sponsors, Lee Costle and Crowley.
And Fervent Care Christian Academy, making sure children get the right upbringing that they need outside of the home.
Thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to our time together next week. We'll see you then.